You know that person, right? Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's even you. They're the first person you call when things go sideways. The one who just handles it. And they do it with this incredible calm that makes you think they're bulletproof. But what if all that strength is really just a well-built cage?
Wow, this quote just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's the central paradox. These people are the pillars in our lives, the ones who seem to need absolutely nothing. But that very perception that they've got it is where the problem starts. They're so damn reliable that we just forget to ask.
And here's the really tragic irony. Their incredible skill at handling things on their own becomes this invisible wall. See, when you're that good at surviving, people just start to assume you prefer being alone. They see the competence, but they completely miss the quiet struggle happening behind it.
And that gap between the performance and the reality is huge. On the outside, you've got this calm, in-control person who makes a 5-alarm fire look like a minor inconvenience. But on the inside, it's a whole other story. It's the bone-deep exhaustion that comes from never, ever being allowed to fall apart. It's knowing that if you drop the ball for 1 second, everything comes crashing down.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why do the strongest people we know absolutely refuse to reach out? And listen, this isn't about simple pride, and it's not just being shy. It goes way deeper. It's a psychological program that got written a long, long time ago.
To really get it, we have to go back to where this armor was first forged, because this behavior isn't just who they are. No, it's what they had to become to get through something. It's a strategy, not a personality trait. There's actually a term for this, hyperindependence. And it's tricky because it looks like a virtue. Our culture praises it, right? The rugged individualist. But really, it's a trauma response. It's a firewall the brain builds around one core belief. Needing people is dangerous.
Think of it like an old operating system running on a new computer. That OS was designed for a totally different environment, one where relying on other people led to disappointment, chaos, or even pain. The system worked perfectly back then. The problem is, it's still running now, long after the original threat is gone.
And this is where that programming usually gets installed. In childhood, maybe a parent was so overwhelmed that a child's needs just felt like another burden. Or the child had to grow up way too fast, becoming a little adult. Maybe asking for help always came with strings attached. A guilt trip. Whatever it was, the lesson was learned loud and clear.
This one hits hard because it just crystallizes that core lesson that gets wired right into a kid's nervous system. The belief isn't just a thought, it's a feeling in your bones. Asking for something doesn't lead to connection, it creates a debt. So you learn to stop asking. You learn to be the person who never needs a thing. But carrying all that armor isn't free. It's heavy, and the very strategy that kept you safe as a kid starts to charge a really high price in adulthood. The consequences are, well, they're profound. The first thing you see is this massive imbalance in their relationships. It's a one-way street. They're the giver, the fixer, the 24/7 crisis hotline for everybody else in their life, but the flow of support never reverses. They're the rock for everyone, but they have absolutely nowhere to lean themselves. And this leads to a very specific, very painful kind of loneliness. It's not the loneliness of being alone in a room. It's the loneliness of being in a room full of people who only know the strong version of you. You're loved for what you do, but the person you are, the tired, overwhelmed human part of you, is completely invisible. Then there's the burnout. And I'm not just talking about being tired from a long week. This is a cellular-level exhaustion. It's the weariness that comes from being in crisis mode for years on end. Your body just isn't built to carry the weight of 5 people all by itself forever. Sooner or later, the system starts to shut down. Ultimately, this keeps real intimacy at bay. Because what is true connection? It's built on vulnerability. It's built in the shared struggles, not just the shared celebrations. By never showing a crack in the armor, you deny people the chance to actually get close. You end up building walls instead of bridges. And make no mistake, your body is keeping score of all this. This constant state of high alert floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol. It leads to tension, headaches, a weaker immune system, and a nervous system that is basically stuck in the on position, always scanning for the next thing to fix. True rest becomes impossible. This might be the hardest truth of all. The fear is often, if I show that I'm struggling, people will leave me. But the reality is, by trying to be so perfectly self-sufficient, you've accidentally engineered your own isolation. You made yourself so smooth, so capable, there's just nothing for anyone to hold on to.
So, okay, that all sounds pretty intense. But here's the good part. How do you rewrite a program that's been running your whole life? Well, the answer isn't about becoming weak. It's about finding a whole new, more honest definition of what strength really is.
The big shift is from hyperindependence to interdependence. The old way, hyperindependence, is all about fear. It's a reflex you can't control. But interdependence? That's about trust. It's a flexible choice you get to make. It's the difference between just surviving and actually finally thriving.
Now, let's be super clear. Interdependence is not the opposite of independence. It's the evolution of it. It means you know deep down that you can handle things on your own, but you're also secure enough to let someone in. It's recognizing that real strength doesn't have to be isolating.
So how do you even start? You start small, like ridiculously small. First, just acknowledge this is a survival skill, not a character flaw. Then, you practice micro-vulnerability. You don't ask someone to help you move. You ask a trusted friend for their opinion on an email. Each time you do that, and the world doesn't end, you're giving your nervous system new data. You're teaching it that connection can be safe.
This quote just sums it all up, you know? That armor you've been wearing for so long feels like it's protecting you, but it is so heavy. The loneliness, the burnout, that is the real burden. It's so much heavier than whatever you needed help with in the first place. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. A wall gives you 100% protection, but it also gives you 100% isolation. A gate, though, a gate is different. It's still strong, it's still protective, but it gives you the choice to decide who and when you want to let in. And maybe learning how to build a gate is the most courageous kind of strength there is.